Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for another stream. This is the team selection video for Double Game Week 36. We hope everyone's having a good week. Is obviously Friday tomorrow. Football is approaching again, and we're back talking about FPL. So, how you doing, Jordan? Everything good?
Yeah, everything's good. This week has flown by, especially with that bank holiday Monday. But yeah, football is now just around the corner in a matter of a few days, and yeah, we're ready and wearing for the moves going forward.
Also, Jordan, thank you for the Prime that you got me. I'm just having it now, innit?
Oh,
The
no
Prime
worries.
you got me. Yeah. But yeah, let's discuss. Obviously, not a sponsored video from. We're not sponsored by Prime. Let's talk about actually Game Week 35 is what we got to speak about first because that's what we got to recap. So, without wasting any time, let's talk about how Game Week 35 has gone. I mean, it wasn't that great of a game week, if we're being totally honest. It was a bit of a low-scoring one. We've got Damien in the chat. It says, evening, gents. Evening, Damien. Hope you're well. So, yeah, let's start off with my team. So, Game Week 35, I had Ederson in goal. And Ederson, who continues to frustrate us owners. For those that own Ederson, know how painful it's been owning him because, again, I've said it many times, Man City usually are dominant in matches. And Ederson will somehow find a way to concede. And he does yet again. To be fair, that shot wasn't really his fault. But it is a bit funny now every time Ederson concedes a goal. So yeah, two points for Ederson against was it Leeds, isn't it? 2-1. Moving on to the back line, Trent Alexander-Arnold did get a clean sheet against Brentford in that 1-0 win, which was nice. Trippier, however, did concede, obviously losing 2-0 to Arsenal, which was a bit of a downer. And Estupiñán, obviously, to top it off, he got 0 points after losing 5-1, wasn't it? To Everton, which no one saw coming, I don't think, which I was even surprised when I saw the scoreline. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, Estupiñán ends up with 0 points. Moving on to the midfield, where it does get a lot better. Mahrez does pick up a lovely 10-pointer for me because he got the 2 assists for two goals for Man City. That was nice. Mahrez was a differential, and he's helped me with a green arrow, I think, 100% this week. Moving on to Salah. Now, Salah, again, he did score in that game against Brentford in the 1-0 win. And he also picked up the 2 bonus points and obviously get the clean sheet point as well. Rashford, however, did blank in that 1-0 loss to West Ham, which was obviously a bit unfortunate for us Rashford owners. Mitoma, however, did pick up an assist in that game, in that big loss to Everton. And Solly March, I believe, only played... I don't think he played... He didn't play the full game, did he? He came off the bench, played the last half an hour.
Yep.
And he only got 1 point. And he also picked up an injury, which has majorly impacted my team for Double Game Week 36. So, yeah, March is injured now as well. So, and up front to complete it, Haaland and Watkins, they both blanked. Obviously, Haaland couldn't score against Leeds, which was a bit of a surprise. Probably one of Haaland's poorer games that we've seen him. Like, his finishing wasn't great. He should have had a goal, 100%, maybe 2. And Watkins did lose. I think it was to Wolves, if I remember correctly. Was it Wolves? Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, really, there's not much to discuss. Kepa did pick up 3 points, outscoring Ederson again. Luke Shaw, Botman, and Greenwood on the bench, and they all blanked as well. So, however, looking at it, that is 43 points for Game Week 35, and it is a green arrow, small green arrow, up to 323k now. So, not too bad, I guess. But yeah, that has how my Game Week 35 team has gone so far. Just want to add, guys, if you are watching, make sure you do smash the like and also make sure you are subscribed to our channel as well. Anyway, Jordan, let's bring up your team. Talk us through how your Game Week 35 has gone. And yeah, to discuss, obviously, I'm assuming he hasn't been great. Obviously, low scoring week.
Well, I think you can tell from the screen that the goalkeeper didn't have a great game. Still, I'll kick it off with him. He's got a -2. -2 points for goals conceded and -2 for the own goal he scored. So, yeah, a -2 for Jason Steele for Brighton, where they did lose shockingly 5-1 to Everton. And surprisingly, again, Edison managed to outscore Steele, which is another interesting stat. But yeah, moving on to the defence, Trippier had a blank in his game as well, losing 2-0 to Arsenal, obviously. If Newcastle managed to finish their chances, maybe that would have been a bit of a different scoreline. But yeah, obviously Trippier conceding 2, that's a -1 point taken off of him, which leaves him only with 1 point. Moving on to Trent, who is the only return in my defence. He managed to get a clean sheet, not an attack and return though, no assist for Trent this week. Obviously, Liverpool won 1-0 only to Brentford, which is a nice home win for them. And on top of the clean sheet, Trent did get a -1. So a nice 7-pointer from Trent. Moving on to Luke Shaw. Obviously, Man United lost 1-0 to West Ham away. And obviously, clean sheet white for Luke Shaw, only getting the 2 points for the minutes he did play in that game. Now, moving on to the midfield. Now, I'm quite happy with this. I'm not happy and quite happy at the same time. But my transferred in player, which was my 1 week punt at 0.6% ownership, was Gibbs White. Now he goes on and scores a goal. He gets an assist and he gets a -1 on top of it. And that was quite an active game. I think Nottingham Forest won 4-3 against Southampton. And yeah, it was. I didn't expect it to be that high scoring, but I'm glad that Morgan Gibbs White did get a nice double haul from that game. So 11-pointer for Gibbs White and massive differential pick. I'm so happy with that transfer. It did really pay off, but not at the same time. Moving on to Matoma in Brighton's 5-1 loss. Matoma only got the assist from Brighton's only goal. So he at least got a return Matoma, but it was only reading the assist, so he ends up with 5 points. Moving on to Rashford, obviously Man United didn't score in that game. They lost 1-0 to West Ham, so only 2 points for Rashford for the minutes he played. And pretty much the same for De Bruyne, even though Man City won 2-1. De Bruyne did blank, but he managed to get a -1 as well for that, which is quite understandable. He played really well, provided balls for teammates, but not really getting on the end of any returns from it. Moving on to the front three, obviously we've got Isak, who obviously blanked, losing 2-0 to Arsenal, only getting 2 points from the minutes he played. Ollie Watkins, surprisingly, result, Wolves winning 1-0 against Aston Villa. And the only thing that Watkins got from that game was a yellow card, so that's a -1 taken off, and that only leaves him with 1 point. And finally, moving on to Haaland, which I think that in that game, I think we all know that he's now officially human because he did manage to blank. Even though he had countless chances to score, he could have potentially had a hat-trick in that game, but it wasn't to be. He did blank Haaland, only getting the 2 points for the minutes he played. But because he's on 4 points, because I captained him, he's ended up with that. So it's pretty much quiet, obviously, in the starting 11. Obviously, there was more success on the team bench. Not from Edison, though, because he did concede 1 goal against Leeds. McAllister did, in fact, score, though. That only Brighton goal in that Everton loss, or Everton win. And yeah, he got a -1 on top of it, which is quite annoying. That McAllister did get a return in that, and it's on the bench. Obviously, Mings blanked because Wolves won 1-0 against Aston Villa. And then, surprisingly, Kilman, of the team that they played against, obviously, Kilman got a clean sheet and a -1 for the 1-0 win against Aston Villa. So, quite another surprise by Wolves keeping another clean sheet. But overall, it's not been a great week. Only 3 returns for my team. And yeah, it's still a red arrow considering Gibbs White got a 11-pointer and 0.6 ownership. I'm somehow still on a red arrow, but I think that's because of McAllister being on the team bench didn't help either. But I'm on 284k. It is a small red though, of about 7.5k. And I had 36 game week points, not very high, and I'm on 2,259 points. So yeah, a quick summary of game week 35.
Okay. That's game week 35 out of the way. Let's move on to game week 36, which is a double game week. And we'll quickly discuss how we're lining up and our transfer plans as well. So, in goal, I am starting Edison against Everton. I do have Kepa on the bench, who's got a home game against Forest. I could play Kepa, but at this point now, I think I'll just go with Edison now and pray he keeps a clean sheet. He'll probably concede somehow, but yeah, I'm going to play him anyway. Moving on to the back four. So I've got Trent on the pitch. Now, as you guys can see from my bench, I do have Solly March on the bench. Solly March was actually starting in my team, and I was going to bench Trent, but because of the injury, I have decided to play Trent. I will come on to my transfer plans and I'll go into why that is as well. So Trent has Leicester away, which I think is a nice fixture for him to bounce back. Not bounce back, of Liverpool won, but in terms of bounce back for not getting any attack in return, because I don't think he got an assist in the last game when he has had a streak of assists. So hopefully, I need a big haul from Trent in this game, because there's a lot of managers I think will be benching Trent, because obviously he has a single game week, and that'll be interesting to see, because I was one of the managers I was potentially going to bench Trent, but that was before Brighton got smashed at Everton. Moving on to double Newcastle defence, Trippier, Botman. They've got Leeds and Brighton. I think the Leeds fixture, potential for one clean sheet in that double, so I'm happy to have the double defence. Hopefully Botman has a bit of a differential, can get me a goal or an assist, something like that would be nice. Moving on to Estupinian, who's got a double against Arsenal and Newcastle, 2 away games. Obviously, Brighton have just conceded 5 to Everton, so the defense maybe doesn't look as strong for a clean sheet, but Estupinian's in there to get attacking returns, so hopefully he can get me one, because I don't think he's got me one since I brought him in. Maybe one assist, I think, but I can't remember when it was. To complete, the midfield. Moving on to that, and I've got Mahrez starting for me. I did bring Mahrez in game week 35, obviously, as my transfer. He did get 2 assists, Mahrez, so that was nice, paid off straight away. Obviously, Real Madrid did draw 1-1 to Man City, didn't they, in the midweek game in the Champions League on Tuesday, and Mahrez didn't play, so that makes me confident that Mahrez is going to get the game against Everton. So if Mahrez does start against Everton, very happy to own him as a differential, so hopefully he starts. If he doesn't, I've got Shaw or March if he's fit on the bench, which looks like he won't be. But yes, to complete the midfield as well, we've got Salah, who's got Leicester away. I think that's a nice fixture for Salah. Potentially, obviously, Salah's on penalties. Salah has picked up his goal-scoring form in recent weeks as well, scoring the winner against Brentford. He is on penalties as well. And yeah, he's ticking along. I think 19 league goals for him now. So yeah, happy to own Salah for this one. Moving on to Rashford, Wolves at home. I think it's a massive game for Man United. I think it is a must-win game for Man United. I don't think they can afford to drop any points in this game, with the top 4 race being so close. So Rashford is the Man United's talisman. He's the one they're relying on for goals, and I think it's a big one. And Rashford should get back to scoring against Wolves, definitely. So yeah, happy to own him. And plus, he's got a double game week as well coming up, so I don't want to get rid of him yet. Mitoma is in my team as well. Mitoma has Arsenal and Newcastle away, so there is 2 away games for Mitoma. So yeah, he's in my team. Obviously, I've had him for a while now, and it's a double game week for him. So hopefully he can. He's been a bit poor recently. I think he looks a bit tired. He doesn't look as fresh as he did at the start of the season. I think he's taking his toll the minutes he's played. Just doesn't look as clinical. But look, it's another double, and there's no way I'm going to sell him ahead of this double. And then up front, I've got Haaland, who's got Everton away. Now, there might be a chance of a slight rotation. Obviously, Haaland did play in the Champions League, but I do doubt it. I think Haaland will play. He might come off after 60. Look, Man City still need to win to finish off the league title and get the points on the board. So I expect Haaland to start. And Watkins is also in my team right now, who's got Spurs at home. But Watkins is going to be transferred out. So I'll come on to my transfer plans now. So as you guys can see, I have 1 free transfer and I have 0.3 million in the bank. Now, very annoyingly, Solly March had to go get injured, because I was going to play Solly March and bench Trent. So that's forced my hand. Solly March is going to now be benched. I don't want to take a hit. I did consider taking a -4 to do March to McAllister, but I don't know if that -4 is worth it when I can just play Trent anyway. So that's the dilemma. Do I play Trent or take a -4? And I think Trent it's probably better than taking a -4. So what my plans is now is taking out Ollie Watkins, which I think is an obvious one for my team. Ollie Watkins has a fixture against Tottenham. He has blanked as well in recent weeks. So I think now is the right time to move out players like Watkins, as we said on our transfer tips video on Tuesday, and to bring in, as you can see from the thumbnail, he's going to be a very popular buy ahead of Double Game Week 36. And the player I'm looking to bring in is Isaac, or Isaac, however you say his name. So that is the current plan. I think it's quite an obvious move. I think a lot of managers will be making this similar move, or if it's Wilson or Isaac, one of them. And yeah, he's got Leeds and Brighton, as I mentioned previously. And I think, we should get early team news because that Leeds fixture is an early kickoff, and I'm hoping we hear news. If I hear that Callum Wilson's going to start, I could be tempted to bring Callum Wilson in. However, I do think Isaac is better for minutes because I think Isaac has more potential to play both games. Callum Wilson might miss one. And that's the reason why I've gone Isaac. I do believe, though, Wilson is the better pick. If they're both guaranteed to play 90 in both games, I go Wilson. But because of minutes and I can only pick one, I'm going with the minutes and I'm going Isaac. So yeah, that's my transfer plans. I've got 0.7 million in the bank. I could actually do Solly March to McAllister as well for a -4. But I don't want to take a -4 this late into the season when I've got Trent anyway. So that is the team. I'm going to play a 4-4-2. Isaac captain, Mitoma vice captain. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way my team looks. Unfortunately, I don't have triple Brighton. I've only got double Brighton, but the way they played against Everton, 2 tough away games coming up, it might not be the greatest double anyway. So do I need triple Brighton? I'm not so sure, but I am a bit jealous of the people that have McAllister, I'll be honest. But yeah, I can't get him in unless I take a -4. Let's move on to your team, Jordan. Talk us through how you're lining up and your transfer plans as well.
Okay, so starting off in goal, we have Steele, who has Arsenal and Newcastle away. Hopefully, Brighton can bounce back after losing 5-1 to Everton. It doesn't feel with much confidence after, especially Steele scoring the own goal in game week 35. But hopefully, Brighton can turn obviously that around. Hopefully, Steele can keep a clean sheet in one of these games. It's very doubtful, but you never know. You could get maybe a bonus or maybe save points as well. We have to see in that game. Moving on to the defence of the 3 at the back, we have Trippier, who has Leeds away and Brighton at home. I honestly don't see a clean sheet in either of these fixtures, just because Newcastle have struggled as much as Man City to keep one in the past few game weeks. So I'm hoping for an attacking return for Trippier, if I'm honest, because he has been a bit unfortunate, I think. Because any time he's managed to cross the ball in to either Isak or one of the attacking players, any opportunities either hit the post or the goalkeeper saved it. So there's a Trippier return coming soon, and hopefully it's in this game week. Moving on to Luke Shaw, who's got Wolves at home. It's I'll say one of the fixtures which Man United must win, obviously, to hold that top 4 place and keep it away from being taken, as Liverpool are creeping behind Man United in terms of points. And with only one game in hand now for Man United, I think it's definitely certain now they have to win at least 3 of their matches that they have left just to make sure they get over that finish line and finish in the top 4. So hopefully there's a clean sheet for Luke Shaw against Wolves at home. And moving on to Trent, who has Leicester away. I think if you haven't got Trent now, I think I'd be pretty worried, especially with the returns he's had. He's still returning, even if he didn't get an attacking return from last game week. He still managed to get a clean sheet and a bonus as well. So he is a bonus magnet, Trent, if Liverpool do keep a clean sheet, but also he is an attacking player as well with that inverted right back position that he now plays in. So he's effectively like a midfielder instead of a defender. So yeah, that should be a good fixture for obviously Leicester away. Moving on to the midfield, we've got De Bruyne, who has Everton away. Obviously, Real Madrid match was played on Tuesday, and De Bruyne was obviously involved in that game, and he did score a pretty nice goal. So I'm pretty sure Pep is going to start De Bruyne, obviously, in this Everton away fixture, just because Arsenal, with winning their match against Newcastle, there's still contention, and I think Pep will play, obviously, his best players just to keep Arsenal at bay and keep the pressure on to get these 3 points, which they'll obviously need. as Arsenal are still catching behind them, so they don't want to slip up Man City, which I don't see happening. So hopefully De Bruyne is starting the Everton away fixture. Moving on to Rashford, he has Wolves at home. Hopefully Rashford can pick up some more goals. Obviously, he hasn't had many this recently, so it's a good fixture for Rashford to bounce back in with Wolves at home. And obviously, there's a lot to play for Man United still in that top four, so hopefully we get a return from Rashford again. And moving on to the last two midfielders, that's McAllister and Matoma. This has somehow worked out having McAllister because obviously Sonny March is a hamstring injury, however serious it is, and the fact that McAllister was also rested in one of the previous game week matches as well. So it kind of feels like in this double, he's going to be playing a lot of minutes, if not the full 90 in both of these doubles at Arsenal and Newcastle away. It is going to be tough ones, I think, for Brighton. These are tough doubles, and it's for two teams that are still a lot to play for as well. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how Matoma and McAllister behave in both of these doubles. And moving on to the front three, we've got Haaland, who has Everton away. A bit tedious, obviously, because Haaland's not the captain, as you may have seen. And yeah, you expect Haaland to do well. I mean, he was kept at bay in that Real Madrid game. Rudiger did pretty well, actually marking him. So hopefully from Everton, they can sort of replicate the same and manage to keep Haaland at bay as much as it can, because he's going to be a threat on the pitch. And now moving on to Isak, who is currently my captain. He's got Leeds away and Brighton at home. I'm quite happy to have one of the Newcastle forwards like Isak, because obviously it does give me the benefit of bringing in another if need be. So I think Isak could do well in this double, and with not many doubles left, and obviously this is the last Newcastle double as well, I think Isak can have a really good game from Leeds away and even Brighton at home. A lot of clashes, but yeah, he is a good player, I think, Isak, and he's been a great starter in obviously the Premier League, even for not starting like from the beginning. And finally, we've got Watkins, who has Tottenham at home. Now, obviously, Watkins comes off of, I think, 3 or 4 blanks now, where he hasn't had a return. And Aston Villa have been on sort of a losing or drawing streak, not winning in their last 4 matches, I think. So Watkins, I think you can say it's time to get rid of Watkins, but obviously we'll talk about it in the transfer plans. But yeah, that is my starting 11 currently. On the team bench, we've got Edison, who's got Everton away. Gibbs White, who's got Chelsea away. Mings, who's got Tottenham at home. And Mings, who's got Man United away. And so I have 1 free transfer and 2.3 million in the bank. So I'll just move it on forward to my transfer plans. So as you most guessed, Watkins is going to be taken out of my team for this game week 36. And who I'm bringing in for Watkins, you probably may have guessed, is obviously Callum Wilson. So it gives me the triple up on Newcastle, and obviously I have the triple up on Brighton. So I'm pretty much covered for doubles as best I can in this game week 36. And bringing in Wilson just provides that cover in case one of them is benched, either Isak or Wilson, and vice versa. But it would be a delight if Eddie Howe did start both of them again like he did in game week 35, which would be a nice comfort. But I am going Wilson captain. Just slightly, though. It's not much in it, if I'm honest. You could go Isak or Wilson. It's surely is not really that much of a comparison. I think Wilson just has a little upper edge because he is on penalties. And obviously he's a penalty taker. But apart from that, it's split decision, I think. Either Isak or Wilson is a decent captain for this double.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's basically my transfer plans. I have 2.7 million in the bank, so it does give me a little bit more money as well because Wilson is a bit cheaper than Watkins was. And yeah, that's basically my transfer plans and my team going forward into double game week 36.
Okay, nice. So you're going with the double attack, Isak Wilson. That could pay off as well. I'm quite jealous that you could get to that, Isak Wilson, because I wouldn't mind having both of them. I think this could be a decent game week to have both, especially with Leeds. I think obviously Sam Allardyce is there now, so we'll see what he can do. But yeah, let's take a few comments as well. If you haven't already as well, make sure you do smash the like, guys. Always helps the channel out. So if you can take a minute, hit the like button. Also, if you haven't, also please subscribe to our channel. We're very close to 900 subs. I think that's the next target for us on the channel. Krogsberg, 39 points, disaster. Um, yeah, so it was a low scoring week, to be fair. Game week 35. Bojan, should I do Solanke to Isak for a -4? If not, which one would you captain? Haaland, Rashford, Salah? Well, Solanke has Palace, Crystal Palace away. I would probably bring Isak in for a -4. Would you, Jordan?
Yeah, I think it's worth it because the attack obviously plays 2 fixtures, and he's a doubler. You're bringing in for the -4, so I think it could pay off as well if you captained Isaac too.
Yeah,
because I think you do have to go with Isaac if you bring him in for -4 to just make it back what you've obviously taken for him to bring him in.
Yeah, I'll probably do it and captain Isak, to be fair. But if you want to go single game week, Salah has Leicester, Haaland has Everton, Rashford has Wolves. I'll probably go Haaland if I had to pick a single game week. I do like Salah as well against Leicester. Leicester have just conceded a bunch of goals as well. But I think Haaland is hard to look past Haaland if you really want a single game week player, I think. I did Watkins to Wilson. So similar move to you, or the same move as you.
Yeah, I think that would be a popular move, I think, especially those who own Wilson's, own Watkins, sorry, still.
Dan Hilton says, evening, guys. Evening, Dan. He also says, I got a bench one of McAllister, Rashford, Bruno, Salah, or Mitoma. Wow, you're on a bit of a benching headache then.
Wow. Well, I definitely wouldn't be benching Brighton, so we could rule them out.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to bench Brighton with their doubles. I personally would want to bench Salah against Leicester. So for me, with Man United struggling to score goals, I would go for a Man United player, and I'd probably say Bruno, if I'm being honest, which is a bit mad because the price he's at. You probably don't want to bench Bruno. Surely you've got another defender you can bench and play Bruno, because if you're going to bench Bruno, you may as well just sell him for another Newcastle doubler like Joe Linton or Joe Willock and take a punt. I would rather do that personally. But yeah, if I had to bench one, I'd probably go Bruno, as mad as that sounds. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I was probably thinking Bruno as well. I think the only benefit, well, there's no actual benefit because even though Bruno's low owned, he's a differential, and I think you'd want to play Bruno too because he's a massive rank gainer. He's not many owners have him, but yeah, that's a bit of a benching headache. I'll still have to bench Bruno though. I could bench Rashford.
Yeah, it's just Man United aren't scoring many goals as well. That's the only thing that sways me towards that. What is the situation on March? Is he out for both double game weeks? Well, the situation is he's got a hamstring injury. And looking at the FPL website, he's flagged and it says he's got a 75% chance of playing. But looking into it, it looks like he will miss that Arsenal game. I'm pretty certain he will. And also, he was actually benched against Everton, and the reason why he was benched is because De Zerbi actually said he was benched because of fatigue and that he's played a lot of minutes, so they benched him because of that. And because they were losing by a lot of goals, they thought they'd bring him in, and then he's gone and got injured. So he was already on the wane a bit, and I think he will probably miss both, if I'm being honest. So I wouldn't start him. He may play one, maybe gets Newcastle, but yeah, I'll be very surprised if he plays both. I think he's out. But yeah, maybe press conference. We'll wait for that as well.
Yeah, just to be certain. I think press conference will definitely rule that. Well, it definitely will show whether March is his injury status is, and he's played 90-minute football since game week 1. He hasn't been benched apart from when obviously that game, but yeah, he's played a lot of football this season.
My team, or full team, is Edison, Shaw, Dunk, Trippier, midfielders as above, and Haaland, Isak, and Wilson up front. Shaw, I mean, I'd bench. Oh, you can't bench Shaw actually. You have to play 3 defenders, obviously. But yeah, it probably Bruno then, or sell Bruno and try bring in another Brighton player. potentially,
You
and go
still have
triple.
to bench that blind player though.
Or you play the Brighton player and maybe bench. Actually, nah, you probably don't want to go triple Brighton anyway. Yeah, I'll just probably bench Bruno. Probably because I was gonna say maybe bring in a Newcastle midfielder, but you've got Trippier, and you've got Wilson and Isak, so you can't. You've already got the triple up.
Yeah, it's a bit of a sideways move though, because Man United double in 37.
Yeah,
So
and you probably want Bruno.
you would have to bring him back in again.
No, bench Bruno, and then play him next week for his double. So you're in a good position, Dan. If you bench Bruno this week, and then have him for that Bournemouth Chelsea game, the double in 37. So yeah, I wouldn't sell Bruno now. I don't think. Do you think Havertz will start against Forest? People still have Havertz. Will he? Yeah, I think he'll start, but he did play 83 minutes against Bournemouth. What's happened here? Sorry, guys, I don't know what's happened here. Bear with me for a sec. I'm just going to read out these questions. I think Jordan's stream just cut off, so bear with me for a sec while he comes back. But yeah, in terms of Havertz, I think Jordan's back. I don't know what happened there.
Sorry, but that came up with an error.
Yeah, no worries. About Havertz, yeah, I think he probably will start, but I probably would sell him if I had him. Isak, Wilson is two obvious moves for me. I have McAllister and Mitoma. Who to replace March with the same price? I would go to a Newcastle midfielder, I think. If you don't have triple up on Newcastle.
Yeah, I'd go with a differential. I think Willock's a popular differential that people are looking to go for. Or Joel Linton, either of the two.
I like Joel Linton. I know you had him and sold him, but I would have liked him for this double. Because look, if you're chasing, I think Willock or Joel Linton could be very, very nice. But their fixtures are tough as well. Newcastle's, and especially, I mean, it depends. Brighton, if you think that's a tough fixture now because the way they played, that might be a good game for Newcastle at this rate, being at home as well. If I bring Isak, then should I also bench Shaw or Grealish? I mean, you always bench the defender. You play Grealish. If he starts, he should play Grealish. Obviously, he played in the Champions League, but yeah, I wouldn't. I'd be benching Luke Shaw if it came down to that. Yeah, then you bench Bruno. Yep, sorry guys, just a little error with the. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, if anyone's got any more questions, drop it in. But we're probably going to wrap this one up. This has been the team selection, obviously, for Double Game Week 36. We are back again for another stream on Saturday morning. What time is the deadline? Is it 11 o'clock or 11 a.m., right?
Yeah, here's another 11 o'clock deadline.
Yeah, so we will be back on 10 a.m. UK time Saturday. Make sure you do tune in for the deadline stream. Should be a good one as well. So yeah, we're going to confirm our moves and our captaincy plans. But for now, that is it from me and Jordan. Hope to see you guys Saturday. Hope you've enjoyed as well the stream. If you have, as always, like the stream if you can and subscribe as well. Anything else you want to add, Jordan?
Yeah, obviously enjoy the rest of your week. And obviously we've got one more day to the weekend. So enjoy, take care, and obviously we'll see you for the deadline stream on Saturday.
Also, final question. I have double Newcastle defense. Is it worth switching for a -4? Probably not.
No.
I don't think I'd do it. But yeah, I don't think it's worth it personally. But it's up to you. Anyway, take care, guys. Obviously weekend's here pretty much soon. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your week. Take care.